Hey guys, James from SIKKY Manufacturing. Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step guide on how to install our S13 240SX rear sway bar. As you can see guys, this has a factory S13 rear sway bar on it, and you can see it's got one hump for the exhaust to come through, and over here it goes straight across. So if you had to route a dual exhaust system through here, you'd either have to bring two tubes side by side through the factory hole, or you would have to come over or under, which is going to really mess up your ground clearance and leave your muffler and piping way too low, prone to damage with obstacles in the road and speed bumps. But the SIKKY bar incorporates a double hump design, so when installed you've got two wide open paths to bring your exhaust piping through without any clearance issues. Alright, so as you can see, this factory bar is in bad shape. Bushing's cracked. It's definitely well past its service life. So we're going to start off by unhooking these factory end links. So when they're old and rusty like this, it can be a little tricky. You're going to need to use 2 wrenches to keep the actual end link from rotating, and a little bit of penetrant oil like PB Blaster will definitely help it go a little smoother. Alright, now you got it loose, let's move to the other side. Alright, so now we're going to move the passenger side. Voila. Alright, so next we're going to remove these 2 14mm bolts on each side to get it off of the chassis. There she is. Alright, so next step, you're going to take the provided urethane bushings that come with the kit and then take some of the urethane grease that we also provide and put a liberal amount on each bushing and then install on the bar. Now we're ready to put it on the car. Alright, now you want to line these brackets up and get the bolts finger tight. Now that we've got the bar mounted, we're going to install the end links. Alright, so now we're ready to put the end links on, so I'm going to explain to you guys this setup. So this bracket actually goes up to the bottom side of the lower control arm, and then on top of this you put the washer and then this lock nut. For the sake of this video, we're installing these end links up on the lift, but the reality is you want to install these sway bar end links with 0 preload, meaning you want to get these bolted into the car but not actually slide them into the bar or do anything in yet. So get this part bolted up to the lower control arm, tighten this up real good, and then leave this dangle. After you got both of them on, you actually want to set your car down, and then when I say 0 preload on the end link, it means you set that sway bar to the point where this bolt will slide right into the sway bar, and then you can install the hardware without actually pulling on the bar. This is a turnbuckle design, so if you did want to add in preload to your sway bar, you could simply turn the turnbuckle one way or the other to add or take away preload. I'm going to recommend that you put 0 preload on the sway bar, just as a better way to set it up until you get a feel for the car and how you want it to handle. Then you can actually start playing with that. But for the sake of this video today, we're going to talk about setting up with 0 preload, which is the way I'd recommend going. Alright, so we're going to take this and go up through the factory end link hole. So you're going to hold the bottom here, take your washer and nut, put the washer on top, and then add your nut. For the best alignment of the end link, I recommend that you run this U bracket like this. So this is the front of the car, this is the back of the car. You don't want to put it sideways. I prefer to have it like this. So once you get it in that position, you can tighten the nut down. Alright, to make it easier to tighten this U bracket bolt down, you're actually going to just quickly take the end link off. Just make sure you keep note of how the offset washers are placed on this thing, so you don't lose them. But you can see that these offset washers go on either side of the end link joint, and the bolt goes through that. But now with that out of the way, you can easily get a socket on the bottom and a wrench on top and tighten it up. Now that we've got the U bracket torque down, we're gonna slide this end link joint back up in here, aligning the washers. Sometimes it helps to get the one side started and then slide the other one up so you get it through. Then you gotta tighten it up. Be sure it's tight, but don't over tighten. You want to make sure this isn't bound up or looking strange, but it looks like we got it ready to go. You can also see this is how the adjustable turnbuckle works. What I would recommend is put it in its shortest position. So you're going to turn that lock nut up and get this end link all the way up to here, and then leave these loose for now since we're going to be messing with that adjustment, but just kind of get it at the shortest range of its travel. You want to make sure it's in alignment this way, so after it slides into the bar, that it's not too much twisted like that once you tighten these up. So what I would do is get it in the bar. Like I said before, we're going to do that on the ground when the suspension is loaded and sitting in its static position. Then you're going to tighten these lock nuts up. These go in opposite directions. And you can tighten these down with a wrench, and then you put your washers on. So you're going to take one washer on, slide it through the bar, put the other washer on, and then the lock nut on the other side. You're going to tighten it up. Again, don't do this till the car is on the ground and the suspension is loaded. That way you have zero preload on the bar. That should move in and out of that hole. If it's real hard to get it in or real hard to get it out, then you have preload on the bar and the bar is actually pulling down or pushing up on the end link, which is what we don't want. All right, so we're going to do the exact same thing we just did on the other side, starting off by getting this U-bracket bolted in place. Alright, so since the bottom of this control arm isn't perfectly flat, you might find as you crank this 14mm bolt going into the bottom of the control arm down, these tabs might pinch in. If it gets to the point where when you go to install this, it's too wide and doesn't fit, all you got to do is flex these open again to get this end link up into the opening. Like I explained, you don't want any preload on this bar, so as you can see, right now if I try to get it in this second hole like the other side is, it won't go, meaning you don't want to just force it in here because then you're actually going to preload the bar. So you want to adjust this end link out till it's the exact same length as the other side, and it will slide right in the hole without any resistance. So you can see it's really easy. Remember, these are a turnbuckle style end link, which makes it really nice for adjusting. All you have to actually do is just hold it and spin. You can see it gets longer. Go the other way, the end link gets shorter. So just keep spinning it like that. Don't worry about rotating the end link. But see how easily it slides in and out? That's how you know there's no preload on the bar. So then you're going to take your washers, put that washer on first, put this inner washer on, and then your lock nut. Remember, you want to do this on the ground with suspension preloaded, sitting in its position where it's going to be at just normal ride height. We're doing it on the lift just to make it easier for you to see how to do this. Now that we have it set where we want, we're going to take a 14mm wrench on the inside and a 14 on the outside. Tighten it up. Alright, so last step once you get these end links installed is you want to take these jam nuts here and tighten them up. So it's a 14mm wrench on the jam nut and a 13 on the turnbuckle. And you're just going to hold the turnbuckle in the same position because you don't want to turn it. That would add preload or put slack in it. So keeping the turnbuckle in the same position, you're going to snug up the top turnbuckle or the top jam nut and then do the same on the bottom. Now you can see it's all tight and it should be a pivot in here, so you want to make sure it's got full range of motion, it's not bound up. This end link can now function the way it's supposed to as the suspension moves up and down. All right guys, that's a wrap on our step-by-step install of this S13 240SX SIKKY rear sway bar. Make sure you follow our tips and recommendations for setup and you'll be good to go. If you don't have a SIKKY sway bar now, make sure you log on to SIKKY.com or get one of our nodule sales reps on the phone to get yours today.